on the floor of the hold.
"Your men don't seem too pleased at the prospect either. They are a morose-looking lot."
I eyed them briefly. They were a morose-looking lot. "Oh, they'll be spelled for food all right. It's just that they have their own private worries. It must be about 110 down in that hold there, and it's an almost unwritten law that white crews should not work in the afternoons in the tropics. Besides, they're all still brooding darkly over the losses they've suffered. Don't forget that it's less than 72 hours since they had that brush with the customs down in Jamaica." Brush, I thought, was good. In what might very accurately be described as one fell swoop, the customs had confiscated from about 40 crew members no fewer than 25,000 cigarettes and over 200 bottles of hard liquor that should have been placed on the ship's bond before arrival in Jamaican waters. That the liquor had not been placed in bond was understandable enough, as the crew were expressly forbidden to have any in their quarters in the first place. That not even the cigarettes had been placed in bond had been due to the crew's intention of following their customary practice of smuggling both liquor and tobacco ashore and disposing of them at a handsome profit to Jamaicans more than willing to pay a high price for the luxury of duty-free Kentucky bourbon and American cigarettes. But then the crew had not been told that, for the first time in its 5 years' service on the West Indian run, the SS Campari was to be searched from stem to stern with a thorough ruthlessness that spared nothing that came in its path. A high and searching wind that swept the ship clean as a whistle. It had been a black day. And so was this. Even as Miss Beresford was patting me consolingly on the arm and murmuring a few farewell words of sympathy, which didn't go any too well with a twinkle in her eyes, I caught sight of Captain Bullen, perched on top of the companionway leading down from the main deck. Glowering would probably be the most apt term to describe the expression on his face. As he came down the companionway and past Miss Beresford, he made a heroic effort to twist his features into the semblance of a smile, and managed to hold it for all of 2 seconds until he had passed her by, then got back to his glowering again. For a man who is dressed in gleaming whites from top to toe, to give the impression of a black approaching thundercloud is no small feat, but Captain Bullen managed it without any trouble. He was a big man, 6'2" and very heavily built, with sandy hair and eyebrows, a smooth red face that no amount of sun could ever tan, and a clear blue eye that no amount of whiskey could ever dim. He looked at the quayside, the hold, and then at me, all with the same impartial disfavour.
"Well, mister," he said heavily, "how's it going? Miss Beresford giving you a hand, eh?"
When he was in a bad mood, it was invariably Mr. In a neutral mood, it was first, and when in a good temper, which, to be fair, was most of the time, it was always Johnny, me boy. But today, it was Mr. I took my guard accordingly, and ignored the implied reproof of time-wasting. He would be gruffly apologetic the next day. He always was.
"Not too bad, sir. Bit slow on the dockside."
I nodded to where a group of men were struggling to attach chain slings to a crate that must have been at least 18 feet in length by 6 square.
"I don't think the Carrassios stevedores are accustomed to handling such heavy lifts."
He took a good look.
"They couldn't handle a damned wheelbarrow," he snapped eventually. "Can you manage it by 6, mister?"
6 o'clock was an hour past the top of the tide, and we had to clear the harbour entrance sandbar by then, or wait another 10 hours.
"I think so, sir."
And then, to take his mind off his troubles, and also because I was curious, asked, "What are in those crates? Motor cars?"
"Motor cars? Are you mad?"
His cold blue eyes swept over the whitewashed jumble of the little town and the dark green of the steeply rising forested hills behind.
"This lot couldn't build a rabbit hutch for export, far less a motor car. Machinery, so the bills of lading say. Dynamos, generators, refrigerating, air conditioning and refining machinery. For New York."
"Do you mean to tell me," I said carefully, "that the Generalissimo, having successfully completed the confiscation of all the American sugar refining mills, is now dismantling them and selling the machinery back to the Americans? Barefaced theft like that?"
"Petty larceny on the part of the individual is theft," Captain Bullen